Welcome back to the third and final part of our series on the lay of the land of the European football scene. This football crazy continent is gearing up for the last few hurdles of what has been a mental season, with many teams tied up in battles for championships, Europe, promotion and relegation. But let's not forget, there's still some continental silverware on the line. In this final video we will take a deeper look at the UEFA Champions League, Europa League and Conference League. 12 teams are still in the race for European glory and the opportunity to etch their names into the history books. Istanbul, Budapest and Prague are all gearing up for some glamorous nights as they are set to host the 2023 European Finals. The semi-finals of each competition are upon us in what is undoubtedly the business end of the season. Expect drama, entertainment, glory and tears. The Premier League and La Liga each have 2 representatives left in the European competitions, but Serie A of Italy has a rather spectacular 5 representatives still vying for continental glory. There is also 1 team each from Holland, Germany and Switzerland left in the competitions. Sadly, it's another year where the Eastern European sides have failed to keep up with their Western opposition. Opponents. France too will be disappointed that they have 0 representatives left at this stage, especially given the strength of their national team. The Italians, however, will be beaming with pride at their top showing. Fiorentina are flying the flag for Calcio in the UEFA Conference League, which of course was won by Roma last season. They will face FC Basel of Switzerland in their 2-legged semi-final, and West Ham, who have struggled a lot in the Premier League this year, will come up against AZ Alkmaar of the Netherlands in the other semi. The Conference League was perhaps a little frowned upon when it was first announced, mainly due to serious fixture congestion across the leagues and cups of Europe already. Many questioned if there was need for a third-tier European Cup, but there have been positives. Just ask Roma. Mourinho's side were delighted to win the competition last year, and with that they qualified for this year's Europa League. The Conference League has also undoubtedly given a big opportunity to some smaller sides. First of all, teams from smaller nations who don't usually make it to European group stages have had the opportunity to compete on a continental level. It has also allowed the opportunity for clubs across the region to be able to genuinely compete for silverware. Teams from Poland and Belgium reached the quarterfinals of the Conference League, and Swiss and Dutch teams are still represented in the semis. The same would not happen in other competitions, so the Conference League is doing a job, and it's also providing us with some great football. 33 goals were scored in the quarterfinals alone. West Ham have Premier League firepower and a very strong squad, with top internationals like Lucas Paqueta and Declan Rice in midfield. They'll fancy their chances, despite what has been a miserable season. The recent victory over league leaders Arsenal, however, has filled them with some confidence. In AZ Alkmaar, they are facing tough semi-final opponents. AZ are just behind Ajax in the Dutch league and impressively saw off Lazio and Anderlecht of Belgium in the previous rounds of the competition. Unlike West Ham and AZ, FC Basel and Fiorentina only managed second in their Conference League groups, meaning they have both played an extra knockout round just to reach this stage. In Luka Jovic and Arthur Cabral, Fiorentina have the 2 top goal scorers in the competition, with 6 goals each this campaign. But they are dwindling in mid-table in Italy, and FC Basel also are set to miss out in the Swiss League for the 6th consecutive season. Both teams therefore will seek consolation in a Conference League medal. Fiorentina versus West Ham is the bookies' choice for the final, but we know things are never that simple. Who do you think will be crowned the 2nd ever champions of the UEFA Conference League? In the Europa League semi-finals, Sevilla will face Juventus and Roma will face Bayer Leverkusen. Sevilla, of course, are the kings of the Europa League, taking home the trophy a record 6 times, winning in every single final appearance to date. With that fantastic record in mind, the Andalusian side will believe they are 1 tie away from another date with their destiny and a 7th title. Despite being on the verge of a relegation battle for most of the season, Sevilla have completely turned their fortunes around. They've climbed the table in La Liga and smashed Man U at home in the 2nd leg of their quarter-final. That magic night and 3-0 victory has the club feeling confident again. Juventus will have their own plans though, also on a fine run of form after an interesting season, where they were docked 15 points but recently had them reinstated upon appeal. They are sitting 3rd in Serie A and are on course for a Champions League spot, with World Cup winner Angel Di Maria in fine form. On the other side of the draw, Jose Mourinho's Roma will take on Xabi Alonso's Bayer Leverkusen in what is set to be an intriguing tie between two coaches with very different levels of experience. That said, Alonso has revelled in his new role as Leverkusen boss. When he took over, the German side were dwindling in mid-table, unconvincing in Europe as well. But since February, they have been on a fantastic unbeaten run, spanning 13 games in all competitions, climbing the league table to within just 6 points of the Champions League places. Alonso has given Leverkusen hope and direction. Mourinho has given Roma the same and much more. Last year's Conference League champions, and also in a battle for Champions League football next season. In Paulo Dybala and Tammy Abraham, they have a fabulous strike partnership too, one that has begun to shine. And there is a sense of magic in the air of Rome again, as the Stadio Olimpico fills up every weekend with anticipation. A passionate crowd roar on Mourinho and his gladiators as they go to war. Back-to-back European titles for Roma would secure a Champions League place as top seeds, and probably warrant a statue for the boss outside the ground. The man seems to have his mojo back, and Roma are a team on the rise. Mourinho and Alonso also know each other very well from previous European battles, when Alonso was still playing, and of course when Alonso played for Jose at Real Madrid too. Mourinho even predicted Alonso's path to a successful management career. Leverkusen have all the momentum, and Sevilla have all the history. However, others will suggest that the final might be played between this year's two best teams on paper, Juventus and Roma. What an occasion that would be for Italian football. We'll take whatever we can get. It's time to enjoy these semi-finals. Last, but definitely not least, the two upcoming Champions League semi-finals speak for themselves. On one hand, we have the Milan derby, one of the world's most famous and historic derbies. And of course, both legs will be held at the historic San Siro. The home of the Milan clubs is set to close the year after, so this derby will be a fitting tribute to the stadium's legacy. It's actually the third Milan derby in the Champions League since 2003. In the 02-03 Champions League semi-finals, Milan beat Inter before going on to beat Juve in the final. And in the 04-05 Champions League, Milan beat Inter again in the quarters. They would go on to lose that famous final to Liverpool. Inter, needless to say, are looking for third time lucky. Manchester City and Real Madrid will clash in a repeat of last year's semi-finals, when Madrid famously came back from the death to knock out Guardiola's men before beating Liverpool in the final. Real Madrid are the undisputed champions of Europe and are going for a phenomenal title number 15. City are still searching for their first European Cup, but perhaps, finally, this is their year. They have come close before, but if they can squeeze past Madrid, they will fancy their chances against one of the Milan sides in the final. Erling Haaland is scoring goals for fun, and City are on a fantastic run of form. But anything can happen in the Champions League, as City learnt last year. There you have it, folks. A roller coaster ride of emotions, goals, and unforgettable moments that only European football can deliver. As the season nears its end, the anticipation and excitement reach a fever pitch. Will your favourite team rise to the occasion or fall at the final hurdle? Watch up-and-coming stars as they shine on the European stage. Will they shine again next season? Will they be there? Only time will tell. Be sure to join the conversation in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more thrilling football content. Until next time, keep the passion alive.